This just happened to me the other day. I started writing an algorithm in my head that would get the AI to behave without input, but then I was like, I could end up creating an AI apocalypse. Yeah, no thanks. And started to try to forget what I had coded. It's scary out there, man. It's truly terrifying that I have a brain big enough to
potentially destroy all of humanity.
A truly dangerous mind. Hello Redditors of the internet, Noble Xenon here, and welcome to r/IAmVerySmart part 26. Let's get started. So, defeating wokeness requires either deconstructing Foucaultian nihilism with a post-Hegelian paragnosticism, or manifesting an inverted intersectionality that creates a Marxist power dialectic to both permeate and validate Bataille's model of Sartrist internalized existentialism. Multiple philosophy degrees required to understand this tweet. My goodness. And Elon Musk replied. But was it the real Elon Musk? Apparently so. He just replied, "That's what she said." Clearly not philosophical enough. And now, why did he have the need to say this was legit on a League of Legends server? Age 16, sex male, height 193 centimeters or 6'3". I play professional basketball. I am considered genius because I have 158 to 160 IQ for whatever reason, so I'm invited in Italy to continue learning and building my career there, but COVID screwed me up. Also, invited in Moscow, but same problem. I don't have friends, and have no intentions to get them, yet I can still speak 3 languages, English, Russian, and Georgian. Lastly, I'll say that being clever than everybody else is boring as hell. I might add something about me later. This dude has got to be some kind of troll. There is just no way. For this next one, if it isn't satire, I am done with life. On r/language learning, can having a very high IQ hinder language learning? Well, I have a professionally tested IQ of 135 to 138, which puts me in the 99th percentile intelligence-wise. That's at least better than the online IQ tests, I suppose. In theory, that should make language learning easy, and in general it is. I have an incredible capacity for finding patterns, learning vocab, imitating phonemes, etc. I am quite the linguist, but actually, it is almost too easy. I've been doing various different courses on Duolingo for about 2 weeks now, Latin, German, French, and Japanese, and I'd say I've reached a decent level in each, but the fact is it's just kind of boring. I'm losing motivation. Could it be that my high intelligence is hindering my learning? Do any other high IQ folks here have any tips on how I can make it a bit more interesting and stay motivated? Such a high IQ that it's actually hindering language learning for this individual. Or maybe you just need to use tools other than Duolingo to learn languages, I don't know. And this next one is so smart that he is compelled to hate teachers. I have a doctorate and have taught classes at university. I no longer do that because I have found more lucrative opportunities elsewhere. Please don't lump teachers in with academics. It's disrespectful to those of us that are actually educated. You know who really values knowledge? My employers, which is why I've been friggin' killing it for the better part of the decade, instead of babysitting children and whining about how unappreciated I am. And you're talking about disrespect while you're disrespecting the teachers who teach our children, and who are in many places not getting paid enough. And now this intellectual individual says, I have a PhD and make 6 figures. I don't need to sound educated to you virgins on Reddit, says the person on Reddit. But really, this sounds like a stereotypical Reddit thing to say. And I love this satirical comment. Yes, well, I am personally a specific yet rather oppressed minority of genius, such as the man you have just chose to arrogantly post, who can rival some of the best minds in history, such as that of Einstein's. We are the sort of minds born with such intellect, and we are the sort of minds here to solve the world's problems. In a sense, you can call us the messiahs of this planet, a Jesus Christ if you will, who are ridiculed by morons and skeptics such as yourself. By even commenting this, I have chosen to face you idiots of low to average IQ head on. You choose to make fun of us, the geniuses and future of this earth, To compensate for your measly intellect, I myself am an intellectual of a staggering 170 IQ, and I have already thought of how to disprove Einstein's theory of relativity in a week, and I'm also a polyglot who has mastered Russian, Latin, Mandarin Chinese, Spanish, French, German, and on my way to learning Danish.
No, not Danish. How will we stop him?
Now, stop disrupting the creators of tomorrow such as me. Who knows? Maybe they will even get your lard-loving butt off the couch and become a functioning member of society. Well then, let us bow down to these individuals of towering intellect. Worship them as the messiahs they are before moving on to this next one, who gets downvoted by saying, "It doesn't matter. I will make back my lost karma by getting upvotes on subreddits that respect me for the person that I am. They respect people with sharp wit such as me. You would never understand me. I see that I am just too smart for this subreddit, and I will make great care not to interlope on places where I am not demanded such as thus." It's just internet points. Don't get too worked up. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, then why not like, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell? Yes, I've heard this before. Feel free to block me. There are only 4 demographics that tolerate me. A. Those with an IQ of over 160. B. Those who have a net worth of 7 or more figures. C. Young sapiosexual females with superior genetic structure and pulchritude. Or D. You face imminent death from external factors. My best Christmas gift this year was from a member here who has constantly insulted me and had me kicked off here a few times. Ask for a substantial amount of money for Christmas in DMs. Have a prosperous 2023. Hold up, what exactly do you mean by demographic C? And by the way, this stable genius also likes to say he's a hitman. Probably one who thinks his brain is the ultimate weapon for the job. Not very effective. This next individual even thinks the scientists are stupid. Yes, infinity is always infinite, but using something that is not infinite to symbolize infinity is stupid. You can measure the sphere, circle, orb, but if the sphere itself is not infinity itself, then you aren't actually measuring infinity, so these complex math integrals lose their integrity. How would you even begin to make an infinite symbol that's literally infinite? That's gotta be a troll. Scientists are so stupid that they can't see that science can't prove nothing because they can't prove that proof is proof that proof is proof, so nothing science has ever done is actually proven or provable. Question is, can you prove that? Science is just a bunch of theories, and I won't believe in a single study that is read by human consciousness. Oh, but this computer did the test for me. Bro, the second you saw the results, then the results were seen by human consciousness. Show me something that is not tainted by human consciousness. Oh wait, the moment you show it to me, then it is tainted by human consciousness. It's frustrating to be the smartest person to ever exist. Well everyone, we have found a new copy pasta. This is just ridiculous. This next one is just too smart for school. Our education system today simply does not have the capacity for this individual. I literally most likely still haven't tested have photographic memory. I was homeschooled because normal school was way too easy and a waste of time. I'm smarter than college graduates, and potentially some professors at this point. I don't need any more education. I'm smarter than you bozo, laughing emojis and clown emojis. I just got clowned on by an intellectual beyond the mere concept of education. And now an amateur literary critic boldly declares what everyone else is afraid to say. There's very little to be found in literature for legitimate intellectual discussion.
Oh, how brave.
Shakespeare mostly made puns and lowbrow D-jokes in his comedies, but they were well written enough that later people thought they were very sophisticated. Charles Dickens was paid by the word, and whoa, Nelly does a Joe. He's actually halfway decent when he's not. James Joyce couldn't get people to read his amazingly dull early stuff, so he started writing incomprehensible crap and got everyone to believe it was avant-garde. Jane Austen was pen up as hell at a typo. Vladimir Nabokov was very good at rolling out basic-ass concepts. that the vast majority of people learned as children, and somehow convincing spoiled literary critics that they were profound truths. Herman Melville needed an editor with the balls to tell him to summarize stuff. And I could go on for hours. There's very little to be found in literature for legitimate intellectual discussion. And he deleted because internet points offended him. Wow. This next one is a certified genius. Practically speaking, it is among that class of homonyms with alternate spellings which respectively denote alternate meanings that I find most frustrating, despite knowing better. Example, incorrectly writing he lead the charge rather than the correct he led the charge. While I get those proposing for rare or unique terminological oddities or else proper nouns whose conventional spellings are awkward or esoteric against expected English convention, I take the question posed not as inviting a search for just any word one might find with an obscure spelling that is otherwise formally acknowledged within the English language, but is asking for what in our personal experience actually contributes most in our frustrating mishaps when writing, and for me, at least, such proposals as, say, the Iceland village of are not, despite their legitimate difficulty, ones that apply to me as defined in the aforementioned respect. Also, I don't know what this dude is talking about Iceland, it's in Wales, but whatever. This next one is an intellectual and a good boy. Redditors seem to not understand that I am not a, quote, nerd. A nerd is one of average IQ that studies science to show off and appear smart. However, this description does not apply to me. I am not a nerd, but rather an intellectual. I do not have average IQ. My IQ is at least 140. Not to compare myself, would you consider Albert Einstein a nerd? Of course not. He was born an intellectual, and could therefore not control the urge of curiosity. A nerd would be able to control an urge of this nature. Since I do not have average IQ, I do not fulfill any aspect of what defines a nerd, and can therefore not be defined as one. Using the nerd emoji is harmful, since it downgrades the value of intellectuals. According to a survey, the most influential career for American preteens is social media influencer. The effect of the use of this emoji is apparent. This kid, the copy pasta potential in these posts is just insane. And now we have a World of Warcraft forum genius, with an O. I don't know why I'm the only one who sees and understands what they're doing. Maybe because I'm just cursed to be smarter than most. I mean, I am a member of Mensa, which makes me a literal genius, but it does get lonely sometimes. But how can you guys not easily see that they're clearing out the old mounts so that they can start selling new dragon riding versions of non-dragon mounts, rideable in every expansion? Yeah, expect an entirely new collections page dedicated to like 900 new dragon riding everywhere mounts. They are resetting the mount game, they are so greedy. And what is the point of bragging about IQ in this case? You're on the friggin' World of Warcraft forum. This next one is a writer of medical research, the difference between a real respected writer and an author. I'm a proud original writer, which means I'm an expert in my discipline and a bona fide academic researcher in my field. I don't have to pay for publishing material. Modern times has just made it easy for anyone to become an author. In fact, just save up a small family fortune and self-publish anything. It's easier than ever to be considered an author to the simple American eye, without ever having to interact with traditional credible publishing companies. But that's not me. I prefer the proper earned integrity, accreditation, and respect of my academic peers and military community. Don't perpetrate authorship, originate your own material. Journalist authoring human rights the courage to write the truth. What? And now a very intelligent 15-year-old has to be a D to their 8-year-old brother just to feel good about themselves. Do any of you give your little siblings easy math questions and laugh at them when they get it wrong? No, because we're not a-holes like that. I asked my 8-year-old brother to find x in x squared plus 5x plus 6 and laughed at him when he got it wrong. I also asked same brother to find the primitive function of x squared. You know damn well an 8-year-old is not gonna know that unless they're some kind of genius. And I mean a real genius, not an r/I'mVerySmart kind of genius. And now a superiority complex about some tattoos and the words that make them. The urge to cover my body in Voltaire quotes is only subdued by the fact that you will not be able to read the body of work clearly, and the entire sense of irony will be lost upon you. Ah, such irony. And now for this next one. I love when people think something was so easy but are utterly wrong. SAT math problem. Question. A hammer and a nail cost $1.10 and the hammer costs $1 more than the nail. How much does the nail cost? Think about it for a moment, pause if you need to. The intellectual replies, so easy for me, yes, it's 10 cents. Except it's not 10 cents. The actual answer is 5 cents, believe it or not. If the total comes out to $1.10, the nail would have to cost 5 cents and the hammer $1.05. There you go.
Knowledge.
And for this next individual, a verification question for a Discord server. What is the Pythagorean theorem? Considering it's for a friggin' Discord server, just say a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but of course this individual had to go far beyond this and say a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In terms of mathematical terms, c is always the vertex position of the triangle being measured, which is basically the longest side of the triangle. In most cases, a and b have the same positions as they usually start in but can change. The equation itself can be solved in a total of 6 different main ways like this. A is known, B and C are not. B is known, A and C are not. C is known, A and B are not. A is known, B is known, C is not. A is known, C is known, B is not. B is known, C is known, and A is not. Lol, I don't even need to look any of this up. I'm typing this right now without any help. Of course, just had to add that brag in there at the end. Do you think people in a Discord server are gonna particularly care? And now you can't escape the low IQ havers. r/no stupid questions. How do I increase my IQ while living amongst stupid people? No choice. I've tried running away everywhere, but the low IQ is a problem which is impossibly inescapable. Mostly, I don't engage with my countrymen. I have some issues which can only be dealt with by a higher IQ me, but I can't do it much long, because the low IQ people will always drag me down, inadvertently, just want a peaceful life. Well, then your IQ is just not ascended enough, I guess. The influence of these low IQ individuals. And now does her child even realize she is in the presence of a high school state poetry qualifier? The mind of 16-year-old state-bound prose and poetry me's inner monologue sure does like to come out during bedtime stories. That was too rhymey. Separate your sentences and project at the ends. Be sure to differentiate your characters a little more. Like, come on, I'm just trying to put my child to bed, not win state. By the way, a few Redditors were confused about this. OP provides clarification. Her child is like 4 or 5. She just chose to refer to her 16-year-old self in third person here. Her past self. Kind of odd, but okay. An informationaholic just can't stop studying thermodynamic string theory and water towers. The FPC connector for the LCD is just loose. Hitting it makes it micro-adjust by millimeters to bring it back into focus. I could fix it in a half hour. I'm an informationaholic and I often take things apart to find out how they work. Want to know how water towers work, or billboard adhesive, or combustible engines, string theory, thermodynamics? I literally can't stop. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being curious, but my dude, did you take apart a whole water tower? Holy! This next one went through the whole checklist. Mention of IQ? Check. Anime PFP? Check. Admittedly, that was a shorter checklist than I expected, but here we go. Is it known what causes it so I can avoid it? I know what causes it. It's caused by Alt-Tab/AFKing in another screen for more than 25 seconds. How do I know this? I have the kinda IQ that takes note of most things, even if they elude the majority. I'm glad I could help anyway. Was it really necessary to mention IQ in this? Just say what caused it and leave it at that. And now your kid still believes in Santa? Guess they just can't think critically. All I'ma say about the whole let your kids believe in Santa conversation is this. When I was 7, my parents were very much still attempting to have me believe in Santa. Me as a critical thinker already knew that shit was fake. At 7 years old, y'all be easy this holiday season, LOL. And Arithio says, I figured it out at 5. Not a brag, but really regret losing out on that particular bit of childhood whimsy. Sheesh, 5? You at Mensa by now? Must have a towering intellect. But seriously, it's not really anything to brag about. And now reply to the quote, if you're the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. I scored 154 on an internet IQ test. Are you serious? An internet IQ test? Another said I was in the league of Bill Gates. I went to college and was smarter than all of my teachers. None of my friends could beat my IQ on the same test. Even my own father scored 34 points lower than me on the same test. I crack really hard problems. Every room on Earth is so far the wrong room for me. Thanks for putting everything in perspective. Gotta be a troll, there's no way that this person actually believes an internet test could actually mean something. And now, yeah buddy, I'm actually impressed you used a colon properly. Troglodytes generally can't comprehend English syntax. Ironically, however, here you are pounding your chest on the internet, because you can't fathom why someone would make a choice to preserve brain cells. Truly a certified brain cell preservationist. This next one qualified for Mensa, so being a professional statistician will be easy. I really think this depends so much on who you are as a person and what you like, what your strengths are, etc. Saying it seems easy, it's not easy at all, and it's a guaranteed job doesn't tell us much about you or your motivation. Well, I'm a typical geek who likes retro video games and languages and geography. I took a matrix test and qualified for Mensa membership. I can easily converse with strangers and I'm not shy. My family are all in STEM fields. Would that make me a typical statistician? I don't know, but just because you have an IQ high enough to qualify for Mensa doesn't mean the jobs are going to be super easy for you. You'd be surprised. And now a commenter replies to encouraging words with a radical stance nobody has ever thought about before. And this, of course, is in Quora, land of the intellectuals, right next to Reddit. Triple upvote, well thought out. Smirk. I have noticed people who say I would upvote this 100 times really haven't thought it through, because if you click on the upvote button an even number of times, it essentially cancels the upvote out and leaves it not upvoted. Happy face? Well, then I'm happy to report that 3 is an odd number. You know damn well this is not what they mean by upvoting 100 times. And now I pray that this is satire. I'm the only person on the New Jersey Transit right now literally doing insane math equations in my brain right now. I'm literally solving differential equations and making up calculus problems just in my mind right now. I'm listening to Tool and laughing at how basic the time signatures are. It's hard to have such a tortured yet genius mind. Ah yes, Princeton, this must be my stop. I'm right there with you praying. And now we have a computer expert. Sorry, buddy, people don't want 2-year-old computers, rolls eyes. Before all the so-called experts drag me, just know I'm an electrical engineer with a 3.5 GPA. Pretty sure I know more about computers than 99% of you individuals. Why use many words when few words do trick? I joined this server because my intelligence isn't of the most moderate quality, and verbally speaking about it to the same gene-structured person as my own will be a big contributor. I like to game. Oh, me too. I like to game too. Anyway, I'd like to thank all of my patrons, especially Amethyst Phoenix, Crangus McBiscuit Bowl, Dark Garden, DJ, Jade Demby, Catalan Cormandy, Nightcrawler, Spoonie the Rogue, and Vic Meister 1999. You can join in the link below, and thank you so much for watching. And by the way, if you enjoyed this video, why not leave a like, comment if you have something interesting to say, or subscribe if you want to see more.